And well, the top story this hour, the Imran Khan government has made a U-turn on the Bajwa's tenure case. They have filed a review petition on the case, and in less than a month after the Pakistani Supreme Court granted conditional extension to the country's army chief for 6 months. Even after dropping an earlier hint that they may amend the army regulations in the light of the judgment. Interestingly, the petition comes shortly after the retirement of the Chief Justice of Pakistan, Asif Saeed Khosa. In the petition, the government has pleaded for a larger bench to hear the case and requested to keep the proceedings on camera. The petition further states that the Supreme Court verdict did not take into account important constitutional and legal points, and that the apex court itself gives extensions to additional and ad hoc judges. Prime Minister Imran Khan had extended the tenure of General Qamar Javed Bajwa for another 3 years on August 19th this year, and then the President too had granted him the extension. However, in its November 28th judgment, the Pakistan's top court had given the Imran Khan-led government 6 months' time to justify why it granted a controversial extension to the army chief. They had also asked the government to pass a legislation through the parliament in that time to clarify the section of the constitution governing the armed forces. The court had also warned that in absence of legislation on the matter within 6 months, the institutional practice of retirement of a general on completion of 3-year tenure shall stand enforced. Well, WION's Pakistan Bureau Chief Anas Malik gives us more details.
Well, absolutely. The Pakistani government backtracking from its initial stance, and now today, a while ago, the law minister met the Attorney General at the Supreme Court, and just some minutes later, we saw the news emerging from court sources that the Pakistani government has filed a review petition on the matter of the verdict of the army chief's extension. That was the short order that was issued on the 28th of November, and then that was followed by a detailed verdict on the 16th of December. Now, the government has maintained that there was judicial oversight on some of the clauses of the constitution, and that should be taken into consideration. The government has also contested in this review petition that the court should take into consideration, and it should form a larger bench into the matter. Previously, this case was heard by a 3-member bench that was headed by the then Chief Justice Asif Saeed Khosa. The other 2 judges were Justice Mazhar Alam Kakakhail and Justice Mansoor Ali Shah. Now, the judiciary came down very heavily on the government, and it had instructed the government to regulate and to formulate a law or a mechanism for the extension or the tenure of the army chief as well. And the government had committed that it would do so in the next 6 months. That is the reason the court had granted that extension for about 6 months only, but that conditional extension. But today, the government has filed a review petition. But something that is very interesting is the fact that the government waited for Justice Khosa's tenure to end. Justice Khosa's tenure, the then Chief Justice of Pakistan, who came very heavily on the military and the government as well back when this petition was filed, he retired on the 28th of December, and then we have a new Chief Justice in Pakistan, Justice Gulzar Ahmad, who took charge just recently on the 21st of December. So by and large, the government had waited for Justice Khosa's tenure to end on prima facie, and then they took their time and filed their review, pleading that the case should be heard by a larger bench, that the judicial oversight on some constitutional points should not be done, and that, very importantly, this case should be heard in camera.